So the second way, guys, and this could be used to connect to strangers or people you just met, people you've known for a long time. If you want to create a connection, you need to offer something personal about yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And then that signals the other person that they can do the same, right? Mm-hmm. So like if you are sharing, if you're answering a humdrum question, like a normal sort of question. You could say, the reason why I like this is because I'm from Brazil and they're blah, 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 right? Mm-hmm. So sort of offering some personal details about yourself in the conversation. And then you could follow that with the first strategy and be like, how about you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we've talked about this, right? It's offering personal details. That's what people can grab onto, right? That's what they connect with. If you don't give them any material to work with or anything that makes you human in their eyes, it won't be an interesting conversation. There'll be nothing to grab onto.
Yeah, exactly. It's just this surface sort of like this is what you hear in textbooks that's so boring.
Yeah.
Right? Hello, how are you? I'm fine. Would you like coffee? Okay. Like nobody talks like that. Nobody wants to talk like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. So giving, being a little bit vulnerable depending on, there are levels of vulnerability, obviously, right?
Exactly.
And we need to use our judgment here, but certainly just offering a little something more than what they're asking for or more than what would have been there otherwise. Love it.
I liked this observation. I think Rodrigo and Lillian made this observation how in Brazil, they were saying that people share like personal details about themselves, like in conversations, and they weren't sure how that occurred in American culture or if it happened. Mm-hmm. And they were like both kind of relieved that native speakers were so open. Mm-hmm. And it reminded them of how they could communicate with people they knew at home. Right. Yeah. So that was a great observation about our culture, is that people share personal details about themselves all the time. And it doesn't matter where you're from or if you're on the East Coast or the West Coast, like native speakers, for the most part, want to connect with you.
Yeah, self-disclosure. This is actually something we looked at in my graduate program, this concept of self-disclosure across cultures and how open different cultures are. It's interesting. One example, remember my big fat Greek wedding? When the aunt talked about with the in-laws, for the first time they were meeting, the in-laws talked about her twin being in her neck, the tumor. Do you remember that?
Oh my God. That is such a famous, part of a movie. People still refer to that, even forgetting what movie it's from. Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah. So that's kind of an example, Greek, obviously that's amplified and that's cartoonized a little bit, but, showing, I do think, that's I think great. Americans are open and they offer things. And I think it's also very personal. It depends on your family culture, where you're from. So many things. But yeah, this is something that does vary across cultures, but I still think it's important to just add a little something about yourself because that's what people connect with. It's not just the black and white stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. You have to put yourself out there in order to connect. And maybe the other person won't pick up on it. That's their problem. Maybe they're busy. It has nothing to do with you. Just move on to the next person.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. And so we have a third way, and I really like this way. I feel like this one would get us the most mileage. What is it, Jessica?
Totally. This is so easy, you guys. It's one word.
Yeah.
So after someone shares a detail or a fact or a story about themselves, just ask why, right? We want to get to the motivation, the inspiration, the reason behind what they just shared. And this is really digging deeper, right? This is such an easy way to go deeper into the conversation.
It's so good. And it's good for so many reasons. An example of this is I remember in speed dating, one of our students, I think the question that I asked was, what was the most adventurous thing you've ever done? And the student shared that, the student had taken her family around, in a camper van for like a week or something.
Cool.
And, my answer to that was I was interested in understanding why that was something she wanted to do. Right. So I said, why did you decide to do that instead of going to, I don't know, a casino or something? Right. right? So you get to know the person on a deeper level. You start to understand their motivations, what inspires them, right? And that actually makes them feel more connected to you because you're showing an interest on a deeper level, not just the what and the when and the where.